Hey guys, Brother Ronnie here. So someone messaged me over the weekend and said, "Hey, I listened to your testimony videos and I really enjoyed those, but was kind of missing some parts, some things that you said. These things will be important in the future. Um, there's no excuse. I just haven't finished that series." Um, there's just a lot. There's so many things. There's just so many things going on right now. I see things in our society and our culture that, I get excited about and I want to talk about. The Lord has done so many really cool things that sometimes I just get sidetracked. Speaking of getting sidetracked, I'm about to get sidetracked. I'm going to tell you guys a story. So, my wife and I have a little boy. He's 7 years old, and we're just starting to teach him about the things of the Lord. We're just starting to teach him, I don't say just start to, we've been teaching, but we're coming to a place now where it's like, 7 years old, they can really begin to understand a lot of deep things, at that age. And anyway, long story short, we took him to the beach this past weekend for Memorial Day weekend. Now, I'm sorry to you Baptists. Back when I was in the Independent Baptist Church, you were supposed to say we went to the coast. You weren't supposed to say the beach because for some reason, if you used the wrong word, it made it worse. I don't understand. But anyway, carried my little boy to the beach for the weekend. And we parked my pickup in this area. We got out, because like you ladies, when y'all go to the beach, guys go to the beach, we don't need nothing but me and a football or, ladies got to have lawn chairs and shade cloth and extra towels and everything for the kids and all that stuff. So we brought all the stuff in my truck. My wife's got this bag. It's like a beach bag that she could put all stuff in. So I tossed the keys to my pickup in her beach bag and went out there, and we played with the kids and whatnot. Long story short, we went to leave. We got back to my truck and my wife almost went into a panic attack. I mean, she literally was like, Ronnie, I can't find the keys. And I mean, that was a bad situation, because we were out of town. We didn't have the key to where we were staying. It was on that lost keychain. And anyway, long story short, we were in bad, we're 4 hours away from home. We don't have a key to get back in our room. We only have a key to crank my truck, and we got 2 children with us. So we're in a bad situation. And my wife was about to panic. And I said, look, just, calm down, retrace your steps, walk back where you come from, and just see if you happen to, drop them on the ground. And she walked back down. Well, my 7-year-old boy, now he's about to panic. Daddy, are we in trouble? What's going to happen? What are we going to do? And he said, is things okay? And I said, well, son, no, it's not really okay. We don't have keys to this truck. We don't have keys to the room. We don't find those keys. We don't know what we're going to do. And he said, well, Daddy, what do we need to do? And I said, I'm going to tell you something, son. Right now, we need literally a miracle. We need to find those keys. And so we're going to pray. And me and my 7-year-old boy prayed. Meanwhile, my wife's down on the beach, and she's even got some other people helping her find these keys, and they cannot find them. As we were praying, there was a lady that happened to walk by with a metal detector. Now, my wife wasn't even sure what a metal detector looked like, but she was thinking in her head, maybe that's a metal detector. So she yells at the lady, ma'am. And the lady turns around and she goes, would that happen to be a metal detector? And the lady says, it is. And she said, I lost my keys, and the lady's like, well, that's what I'm here for. And she does this like kind of as a little part-time side gig, whatever. She told my wife, she goes, here's the deal. She said, if I find the keys, it's $50. If I don't find the keys, I don't charge you nothing. But if I do find them, at this point in time, what are you going to do? You're going to pay the $50, because I mean, it is what it is. Now, I know some of you right now are thinking, whatever happened to people just doing kind things out of the kindness of their own heart? And I'll be honest with you, I thought that too. But here was the thing. Number one, this was an answer to prayer, y'all. We were in a bad situation, and the only hope I had was that God would answer a prayer very, very quickly. And so I'm like, I see this as an answer to prayer. I don't want to haggle and stiff this woman just in case this is all she has to make a living, And so I agreed to it. I said, all right, I'll do that, And my wife tells me I have one of these kind of faces. I cannot hide my emotions. Like if I think you're lying, it shows. If I think, that you're full of something, my facial expression says loud and clear to people whatever I'm thinking. And so I go back and I go to pay this lady after she found the keys. And she looked at me, she goes, don't be angry at me. She's like, don't be angry because you got to pay me. She's like, I'm sorry. And I was like, no, it's cool. And it really was. And she looked at me, she goes, tell you what, I'm going to give you 10 back. God bless you. And I took it too. But anyway, so, I thought about that, and I thought, we live in tough times, man. People got to make grocery money however they can. This lady, man, needed that money more than I did. So, and again, it was an answer to prayer. I've told this story to a couple people. The first thing they said is, golly, how come people can't do stuff out of the kindness of their heart anymore? And I'm like, I don't know. My mechanic don't do stuff out of the kindness of his heart. The guy that's going to paint my house, I wish he'd paint my house out of the kindness of his heart. But everybody's got to make a living. So anyway, that was I was very thankful to that. That could have ruined our whole trip. And the Lord answered prayer. And I told my son, I called my son aside a few minutes later. And I said, son, you see the predicament we was in? He said, yeah. And I said, what did we do? What was our, what did we do? And he said, we looked for those keys. And I'm like, yeah, but we didn't find them. Then what did we do? He said, well, we prayed. Now, I'll be honest with you, I kind of taught him backwards. We should have prayed first and then looked for the keys, but I still got some spiritual growth to do, We looked first, prayed second. But the important thing was, it taught my son, there is a God who answers prayer. His mom and dad do rely on that. They do depend on that in everyday life. And God does honor and answer the prayers of his people. And my son got to see that face to face in real life. And to me, that's worth the $40. Anyway, this is not really a part of my testimony, like how I got saved, but I did think it was a cool story. It's a good testimony of God's faithfulness. For so long before I was a Christian, I always believed that God was so distant. He was so far away that there's no way God could ever really know what was going on in my life. At least I hope he didn't know some things. But I just never thought God would have interactions with mortals like me, And what amazed me so much when I got saved during my conversion was looking back at the pursuit, the things that God did to reveal himself to me again and again and again in spread out time spaces. And then those things would get closer and closer and closer until after a while, it literally, a fool would have been able to tell God was trying to get their attention. And that's what I was at the time. I was very foolish. And, but God pursued, and I was looking back on all that stuff. It's just amazing. And the number of prayers and the number of things that God has answered for me over the years. If I documented all of them, I don't know. I don't know how many videos I could make on things like this, but even now my mind's rushing through so many things that I would like to share with you guys, and I will, Lord willing. That sometimes it's hard just to stay on track on one particular story because you start drifting down memory lane. But anyway, listen, guys, God is a present help. He is active in our life. I realized that when I got saved, that God was active in my life, bringing me to Christ. And even in my life since a Christian, I think sometimes we really don't believe that God is that present. The Bible tells us He is a very present help for us in a time of trouble. He is very present for us all the time. I just think sometimes it takes things like this to happen to us to remind us that He is ever present with us. Thank you guys for watching, man. Y'all have a good day. Peace.